Welcome everyone, my name is Arman and this video is going to be centered around 3 main concepts on how to start making your first $1,000 a day in 3 months from Facebook ads. Now this video is going to be made in 2 parts. The first part is focused on making money using a Facebook paid advertising strategy, and that's going to be this video. The next part, which is going to be another video, is going to be based around an entirely new strategy that I've been working on. And hint, it's not TikTok, it's not Pinterest paid ads, it's nothing that you're probably going to guess. In this video, I've noticed a lot on YouTube in recent times in the dropshipping space, and the creators making the content, they've moved farther away from showing practical concepts and advice that you can actually use to better your business, to instead making quicker paced entertainment / lifestyle based content designed around increasing engagement, which as it stands now is filled with less practical information and more flashy content. Which isn't bad as long as it's balanced with content like this, and unfortunately there isn't a lot of balancing going on. So with that being said, here are the 3 main concepts that you need to start making $1,000 a day with dropshipping with Facebook advertising. Now the first one is product selection. And if we open that up, product selection requires you to have a lot of foresight. And here's what I mean by that. When selecting your product, you need to help future-proof it by seeing if 1, it has high upsell potential, and 2, passionate niche. We're going to start with high upsell potential. In my eyes, this is a non-negotiable. If the product that you're wanting to sell isn't something that makes sense for a customer to buy more than one of, or if there isn't a clear complementary product that you can sell alongside your main product, then I would stay clear of that product entirely. Now there's 2 ways that you can qualify if a product has high upsell potential. The first way is by looking at what your competitor is doing. Compile a list of 3 competitor stores selling the same product that you're wanting to sell, and look at the products that they're using to upsell. 90% of the time, most of the competitor stores will all be using the same upsell products, which validates that the upsell product is working. It's a proof of concept. Now, the second way is by using just a little bit of common sense. So do a little market research and figure out the demographic of who would be buying your product, and then think like them. Ask yourself, does it make sense for me to buy more than one of this product? For example, if you're selling a back cracker product, the answer to that question would be no. However, a clear complementary product that you could use as an upsell would be a neck cracker. And on the other hand, let's say if you're selling a massage gun, it doesn't make sense, generally speaking, for one person to buy multiple massage guns. Now, you'll get the one-off customers that buy multiple to gift out. However, the exception doesn't disprove the rule. And that product inherently doesn't make sense to buy multiple of. Now, the second factor that I use when doing product selection is the product in a passionate niche? Customers buy based off emotion. So if you're in, for example, the pet, the baby, the fitness niche, these are all emotion-driven buying markets, which naturally lowers the barrier to entry when selling these type of products. Now, what I'm about to say is what nobody tells you online, and it's not going to be super flashy or glamorized. It's what's going to separate dropshippers that are in it for the long run and the ones that are here that get quick spurts of motivation and think it's all going to work out on their first try. But what you need to start doing to determine if a product is in a passionate niche is do a little bit of market research. If you find a product that you think is a banger but aren't sure if it falls into the passionate niche category, start by researching that niche that your product is in. For example, if you find a fishing product that helps fishers get more catches or whatever the case is, start researching the buying habits, etc. for fishers or for that niche. From past experience, I know that the fishing niche is a super passionate niche because they spend a shit ton of money buying fishing gear every year. But you'd only know this if, 1, you're a fisher, which I'm not, or if you did market research, which is what I did for that product. Now, for students in my mentoring program, I share a few extra winning product criteria that help qualify a product. And I also handpick the product that we first start testing with for my students. And we do that out of their product research sheet that I provide them. And a nice kind of segue into the next section is I want to take a quick side tangent from the original video, because I've included some new wins from students that are in my one-on-one mentoring program, and I think it's super valuable for you watching to see tangible results, because it's a living, breathing proof of concept to what I'm explaining in this video. All of these results, plus more, will all be on my Instagram, and that's in the description, so you can view that for yourself. But here are a few examples of students that are crushing it. The first two are results from earlier this year when I first started working with those students, and the last two are from much more recent, newer students. Now, the first student, he is doing a low ticket product with very high margins. You can see it's over. Well, it's gonna be hard to see. It's a little bit small, but it's 103 orders, and that generated 1.3K in revenue. The major thing to take into account is the profit margin. Revenue numbers are flashy, big numbers, but with drop shipping, it's notorious for having small margins. So by having products with high upsell potential, a proper funnel in place, that's where we can really increase the profit margin. For this student, I believe his profit margin was 25 to 30%, which is a very healthy margin, especially when you're doing 1.3K per day. Now, the second student is doing something called horizontal scaling, which basically means that they have the same product that they're testing with or that they're selling being sold from two different stores. This is going to help mitigate risk, and it's just nice to have two separate entities selling the same product, netting you the same margins and money. So you're going to see right here, he's doing $854, roughly $800 a day on the main store, and then on the second store, it's doing $300 a day and scaling pretty rapidly. In total, it's $1,000 across both stores. Now, the third student, and we're almost done here with the wins, the third student is absolutely crushing it. In this screenshot that I'm about to show you, he did $120 in the last hour, in 1 hour, with very healthy margins of around 25 to 30% again. And we will be having a YouTube case study at some point soon with this student. Now, this screenshot that you're seeing right here, this is from yesterday. He is also selling a semi-low ticket product. However, when looking at his orders, you can see $35, $33, $38, $20. When you're looking at all those orders, the bulk of that money is coming from upsells. And because of that, his profit margin on these orders are crazy. And this all comes down to the upsell structure that I had him put in place from the get-go. Combining product page upsells, shipping upsells, including both pre and post-purchase upsells, as well as the actual product having a high upsell potential. Like I mentioned earlier, you're future-proofing yourself by picking the right products from the start. And that's what you can see right here. This other screenshot right beneath it is kind of the revenue at that point in time for his store. Since then, we've been scaling pretty rapidly, so that's a much higher number at this point. But you can see that right there too. Now, the last student that I want to go through really quick is one that I actually did a full YouTube case study with. We took him from $0 to $44,000 per month in 1 month. And it's super valuable for you to watch this, even if you're not looking at being mentored. Even if you're just interested in drop shipping or in business, I had this video set up in a very conversational, like podcast style. And the topics and insights that we share and touch on in this video are well worth the 40 to 50 minutes that you'll spend to watch this video. The ROI on your 40 to 50 minutes that you'll spend is very, very high when watching this video. Now, the reason why having a mentor is so valuable is because when you have to pay money towards something, human nature teaches us to value whatever it is more than if we, didn't have to do anything to unlock or earn that information. For example, watching this video, the information that's shared is extremely valuable, but you didn't pay anything to watch this video, so the amount of people that's actually going to take away from this video and put it to use is very slim. Whereas if, most of the time when you put money towards something, you're going to value it more than if you just got it for free. Now, on top of that, when having a direct outline and a direct structure to follow and someone to guide you, there will automatically be a driving factor for you to make the most of your investment. To give you a little bit of personal insight and for you to know that I'm not just preaching this without actually doing it myself, this year alone, I've spent roughly $15,000 across 3 different mentoring programs, all centered around personal branding and building an even better mentoring program for my students. And I paid that money for the very reasons that I mentioned above. And I wanted to invest in myself and my business. And with the information I learned, I not only made all of the money back and way more, but now I also have the knowledge that I learned from them forever. And I'm gonna keep making money off of that knowledge, and it's, that's gonna be residually. So that information and that one-time payment that I paid is gonna make me money in dividends. That's why I value mentors so much. But to get back into the actual concepts of this video, the next fundamental is the product offer. Now, your product offer is pretty self-explanatory, but essentially you need to pair the desire that your customer has to buy your product with an offer that actually makes sense and pushes them over the edge to actually pulling the trigger and buying. You need to give them a reason to buy from you and not another bigger name brand store. The offer that I teach and that I personally use is by far the best on the internet. And unfortunately, I can't share it because it'll become oversaturated and ultimately ineffective. But typically, a lot of dropshippers do 50% off. And that in this day and age is just not enough to have someone buy something from your store. You need to start bundling other products with your main product, which gives your customer a higher perceived value for what they're buying, because they're getting more than just what they paid for. Even though you're going to have all of that factored into the price, the customer sees it as just added incentive to buy from you and not from another person or from another store. Now, the third and final concept is a Facebook testing strategy. Now, online and just in general, there are a ton, like endless amounts of Facebook testing strategy, but there's very few that are actually effective. The one that I use is what I call the gradual scale method. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna first start with a small budget, small audience sizes, etc., to initially test your product. As you begin to get sales, your Facebook pixel is going to start collecting data on what your typical buying demographic looks like. As you begin to scale, you're not only going to increase the budget on your ad campaigns, but and country targeting. By doing this, you're giving Facebook the breathing room that it needs to start getting easier and easier sales, because ultimately Facebook already knows what type of person to place your ad in front of and the likelihood of them buying. That's all going to come down to your Facebook pixel, which is the brain of your entire Facebook ad account. Now, at the end of the day, Facebook is directly incentivized to get you conversions because you're going to end up spending more money if they get you more results. It's very simple when you put it like that, but you just need to make sure everything else aligns so that your customer can buy from your store. Facebook will do the rest as far as putting your advertisement and putting your product in front of eyeballs. Watching these types of videos are great, but if you don't take action, it really doesn't matter how many videos you watch. You're not going to achieve your desired outcome. You need something that bridges the gap from you watching these types of videos to you actually starting to make money. I am that bridge. This next part that I'm going to talk about is only for people that are going to take action and that really want to take their dropshipping business serious. If you need someone to hold you accountable, to bridge that gap that I mentioned earlier, and to give you direction and ultimately provide a proven to work system, schedule a one-on-one consultation call with myself, and if we're a good fit, we're going to start working together. See you in the next video. See you in the call.